Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Right, so today I want to discuss with you a really easy way to set up your ad campaigns now. Now, this is ideally for beginners, but I still use it on certain ad campaigns. And I'm going to tell you briefly the differences between if you're into your ads manager and you are currently run ads and you understand it. There are certain things you can't do when using this new ad strategy. But if you're a beginner, it's brilliant because it stops you from making any mistakes. Okay, so there's two things. And the one we're going to talk about today is tailored campaigns. There is shopping campaigns. So if your e-commerce, if your ads manager is set up for e-commerce, well, actually, no, it's a harder way to say it. Basically, if you started running ads, when you click sales, it's going to give you an option for a shopping advantage plus. If you click leads, it's going to set you up for the option of a tailored campaign. So I'm just going to basically talk you through what you'll see on your screen to do this and sort of tell you the differences of why this is good for a beginner to use. So go into your ads manager and I want you to click on that create green button that's on your left-hand side. Now in here, we're going to go for lead gen, okay? So this isn't, I'm not going to go into the audiences and all that sort of stuff. I just want to explain really why this is good. Okay, so we're going to click leads and we're going to continue. Now, what will happen now is you're going to get a pop-up box. And in this pop-up box, it's going to say, choose a campaign setup. Create your leads campaign using a tailored and streamlined setup, or manually build your campaign. So automatically by default now, it's automatically set to tailored lead campaigns highlighted in blue. The manual setup, for those who are doing your ads, and you have been, we and I will mostly use the manual leads campaign. And that's because I'm able to do things like set up audiences and things like that based upon testing out different audiences, see what works. But when you're a beginner, you're not necessarily going to be doing this sort of stuff. So this is why the tailored leads campaign works so well. So in here, it is saying that it's streamlined to create a campaign in fewer steps using a streamlined setup. It's tailored, create a campaign using a setup tailored to help businesses like yours create lead campaigns, and best practices, which we're going to go into a little bit more detail on what's the best practice. So we're going to click on tailored leads campaign, like the default, we're going to click continue. Right, for those of you who are going to see a slightly different page now. So it's not split into campaign, ad set, and then ads. We've got tailored leads campaign and it gives you the date. So feel free to completely change that to your own sort of naming convention. So if you're selling different lead packages or whatever you might be doing, you're going to have your own naming conventions. Or if you want to keep it as tailored leads campaign 2507, then that's absolutely up to you. Right, as you scroll down the page, categories. Now, this isn't something that you need to do. In here, this is really for people who are in the credit, employment, housing, or social issues point of view. Now, unless you're anything to do with those, I wouldn't. It's rare that we have a client that does. You might sometimes, depending if you're running a mortgage offer or something like that, or a mortgage company and you're wanting to win clients to start using your platform or something for mortgages, it might actually come up saying, we've noticed that you need to be under a special access category. If you still don't, then you can ask for a review. Otherwise, you can click the housing. It just means that Facebook has more idea about what you're doing as a business. Okay, so we're going to keep it on instant forms. Now, if you've been listening to any of my last podcast, especially, was on the settings on the instant form. 2 years ago, we would send all of our traffic to our landing page and we would collect information there. With the tracking problems that we've been having over the last couple of years, Jan to iOS 14, we've now started using on Facebook forms, which is called an instant form. You can send people to a downloaded PDF. You can get good quality leads. It's brilliant. Okay, so I would definitely recommend keeping it on an instant form and collecting your information there. Okay, then you've got your Facebook page, your budget, start date, etc. Now, an audience as normal. I'm not going to tell you how to build an audience because that's not what about this, but you'd put your audience in there and carry on. Now, so we've basically essentially built our ad set page, but you'll notice for those of you who understand Ads Manager and have done these things before, we don't get the option to build different multiple ad sets to test out different ad sets. So what we'd do is, for any beginner listening, when you're further into doing advertising on Meta, we would start testing out, and I've got other podcasts about this, testing out different audiences to see which audience resonate best with what we're trying to do and the ads we're trying to display and create that engagement. Tailored doesn't do that, and that's really to protect a new advertiser from making mistakes of putting your budget in ad set rather than campaign budget optimization if you don't know what you're doing, creating multiple things. It's very easy until you've been around the ads manager a lot to make mistakes. So this is great to help new advertisers. So we're going to click next here now. We're going to go on to tracking page. Now, as we're on this tracking page, it starts off with the title of Tailored Leads Campaign. And in there, it says, create your campaign in fewer steps using the Tailored Leads Campaign. It's preset, with built-in best practices to help you get more leads at the best value. Now, if I click onto that, it says this campaign includes the following preset settings. If you need to change these, you can switch to manual. Now, if you go and switch to manual, it will change the whole ad setup to the manual way that we do it. So if you're a beginner, don't press that. We want to keep to this tailored strategy. So it's saying campaign objectives leads. We know that because we selected that. The bid strategy is highest volume. Now, when you're more into this, you can start choosing higher volume, or you can do big caps, or you can do cost caps. And it's different ways that we can actually put our ads into the audience. But do you know what? 95% of the time with all of our clients, we still use the highest volume. So that's staying the same. Placements, it's advantage plus placements, which means that we now don't have the option with using this strategy of making sure that we don't hit audience network or splitting between Facebook and Instagram, etc. So that's one of the things that we've taken away. But again, it's a good thing, because if you start going into manual placements, you start having to get your creative into different sizes, whether it's portrait at 9:16 or whether it's 1:1 square, and you need to do this. So it's taking that away. So what I would advise here is using a square or something like that, which means that whether Facebook puts it on a reel, whether Facebook puts it on an audience network, on a feed for Instagram or Facebook, it will optimize your creative as a square to be seen clearly on each of those placements. And again, its optimization is for ad delivery leads. Again, if we were able to do this by manual setup, we could change it from optimizing for landing page views or impressions or link clicks. So again, it's keeping it down to what you've optimized for. Your objective was leads. It's making the optimization leads, which is great. So we follow down the page. Again, we can change the ad name from Tailored Leads Campaign, call it what you want. If you're talking about a particular service, you can name this part of your service. Select your Facebook page, select your Instagram account, and now carry on with putting your single image or video in, or you might be using a carousel. Put your text, your headline, description, sign up, whatever your CTA might be, and then choose your form. Now, I'm not going to go into how to build a form, do that correctly. That's another podcast altogether, because it takes time to understand that. But it's not the hardest thing in the world. Again, follow what Facebook says to do. So if you're building a form, follow the instructions that Facebook does. It won't let you submit the form until you filled it in correctly anyway. So it's not that, it's very easy to make a mistake. So I hope that helps. It's basically answering the question, because a lot of people ask us now, I'm getting confused with the tailored campaign and the manual campaign, and it's nothing to be confused about. And it's perfect for unconfusing a beginner in Facebook advertising, because when you go into Ads Manager, it actually can be quite daunting with all the different budgets and all the different things. So let yourself start off using a tailored campaign, make it easy for yourself, let Facebook hold your hand through the whole thing. It's not setting you up for a fall or anything like that. It's making it easy for you until you understand your way around Ads Manager and whatever everything means. And then you can go on and start using manual setups and testing audiences and changing bids and all this sort of stuff if you want to. Again, I'd advise not touching bid caps until you really know what you're doing, because it is an easy way to spend a lot of money. But do it like this, especially if you're a beginner to this. And if you like what you hear, then join our Facebook group. Let's Run Facebook Ads. It's a private group, and we'll be putting videos in there and lots of people asking questions and things like that to help you on your journey. I hope that helps, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.